But don't you, like, when you look at it now, it was just basically Friday with orange soda instead of weed.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
and then Street Sharks came,
mm-hmm.
and I was just like,
son of a bitch. Like, we're completely screwed.
When they
But they're
gave Jaw
cool.
legs.
Yeah, give Jaw's legs. Fucking gave Jaw's legs.
Just like with that urgency and worry in your voice.
They gave Jaw's legs. Mom! Mom! We're talking about remakes, by the way. How are you?
Yeah, we forgot.
This is the not exactly round again. I'm Jason.
Yes.
That's Warren.
It is.
Yeah, we went off running there.
Yeah.
Talking about remakes, talking about our disdain for the remake. But also, you bring up an interesting point there about we have all of this technology.
Yeah.
And we're all about the practical effects. We're all about doing it in the vein of the Stan Winstons and the Rick Bakers and the Tom Savinis and the Greg Nicoteros of actually doing it, actually making the thing that's on screen, not using CGI as a catalyst, but not using CGI as the main thing. And we have movies like Valerian, who are the 2017 equivalent to that stuff back in the day.
Yeah, like it really is. It's just cool. You can tell the type of minds that went into it, and you can see all like I was trying to explain to Hunter. I was like, I didn't know anything about the graphic novel that it was based on, but it was before Star Wars. George Lucas was very interested in it and stuff. And I said to Hunter, I was like, about the Kane robot thing.
Yeah.
I was like, those K-bots, I was like, it looks exactly like the Kane robot from Robocop. And he was like, oh, well, they probably took that design from there. I'm like, well, I haven't seen the book, so I can't say that for sure. But I'm feeling like these guys are just crazy into effects, and so like the live action guys were all like, we're gonna make some robots, and they're like, you finally get a chance to work on a movie that's actually gonna do this shit again.
Yeah.
That thing you've always wanted to do. And like, we're gonna make them fucking Kane robots. Like, well, that's what we're gonna do. Like,
yeah.
But
like shit, one of the most badass robots to ever walk
I think
the screen.
Even now, I would like anyone to name one robot that would beat Kane's ass, other than RoboCop, because he did, but that doesn't count. He's a cyborg.
Yeah, I watched a really cool couple snippets of Peter Weller talking about the production of if you want something cool to look at after you're done watching this podcast, which again, I say it every time. If you are, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
It's awesome. But if you're watching it, just type in Peter Weller's name and look at some of the stuff he did, just at like some cons and talking about the suit and moving in the suit and trying to make the character actors like that, and especially the guys that wear the masks and wear the suits and all those things. He is probably I would think he's probably the most recognized of guys that have done that. There's a bunch of dudes out there that wear the makeups and stuff, but nobody knows who Kevin Peter Hall is. If you know who Kevin Peter Hall is, comment down below right now, because I'm about to tell you who he is. Don't Google it. If you know who it is, comment below. But he played the Predator.
Well, we spoiled the thing.
Yeah, we did. He played the Predator.
There you go.
Well, that's what it was. Stop typing.
Because now you're typing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't do everything somebody tells you.
Yeah. No, don't do that.
You to jump on a cliff.
Yeah.
On a cliff, not off it.
Yeah, just jump on. I don't want you to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
I just,
Safety.
Yeah. But there's guys like that. The Andy something or other. I forget his name. The guy who does all the motion capture stuff for the new Planet of the Apes. Again, there's someone. He now is experiencing probably the kind of thing that Peter Weller did. But we don't. There's only a very small niche of people in this world. The movie nerds, the guys who really love the movies and love the actors in it. Guys like Kane Hodder, guys like Gunnar Henson, Andrew Bernarski. I've just named two Leatherfaces there. Again, I mean, Kevin Peter Hall, it could be Kevin Michael Hall as well. I'm not sure. Correct me. But Kevin Peter Hall resonates with me, so I'm going to go with that. He played Xenomorphs as well. I mean, as a tangent to the remake thing, because all of these movies that I'm citing right now have had several remakes and all of that, and we kind of forget that there's a dude in a suit as well, or there's a guy in a mask, and how Andrew Bernarski, the guy who has played Leatherface now more than Gunnar Henson. Gunnar Henson only played him once. Andrew has played him twice or 3 times, I think. But in the way he describes having to act without a face, you have to go very kabuki, you have to go very big, and it's very easy to make that campy and funny. It's very easy to do that, and those guys who become these creatures, and even in contemporary films, like there's one guy that played pretty much he played Mama in the movie Mama. He played that wasn't CGI. For everybody out there that thought that was, that was enhanced. Again, we go back to using the technology as a catalyst.
How it works, and like how it should work.
Exactly. Those guys they get credit for the movie, but if you saw the guy, he's a big lanky fuck. Like he has a strange joint dysplasia. And he's very long and large. He's like 6'8", but he does all these crazy, disgusting, awful things, and it's not CGI. It's actually a person doing that. And I have a picture down there that's signed from Kane Hodder that he said he'd see me in hell. And like, when you meet that guy, he is even if he's not dressed as the guy, he is Jason Voorhees. He's 6'4", and he looks like he could fucking kill you. And there's none of that in the movies that are coming up, and even the character actors. I'm not coming at the Helmsworth. I'm not coming at I'm not coming at any, especially not Robert Downey Jr. or any of those guys that play any of those characters, because that's a character actor. You're in a suit and you have to make the suit something that it's not. But the suit in most things is the character. And then there's this actor that is also the character. And then they almost become these two things in the movie. You have Tony Stark and you have Iron Man. But you forget that Tony Stark is Iron Man. They try to bring out all this personality using CGI, and computers don't know what personality is. Computers don't have the pathos and the gravitas of an actor. It's some guy with a smudge tool and a motion capture program and a gimbal program for trying to give life to this thing that is inanimate. I would love to see in these remakes that we're talking about, because they are doing a whole bunch of horror. They're doing a whole shitload of horror. Maniac Cop is one. I'm really upset about that, but we'll talk about that later. But I don't want that dude to be just some guy. Yeah. He's Maniac Cop. He's a cop that's resurrected an evil, awful thing. And I want them to do it just like the actor with the big giant beveled jaw, that wasn't makeup. That dude's jaw is actually like that. Like, they looked at him and was like, "You're the fucking guy." Like, you're the guy. I don't care. But all these remakes and things and all these new movies that are coming out, it just makes me upset. Like we're running out of ideas.
Yeah, which is a problem with the amount of people now. Like, think of how the world was when these movies were getting made.
All innovators and geniuses.
The pool of fish was so much smaller, though. Like, now you can actually... It's a viable option for you to go to college and do nothing but art or graphics, or have all this technology at your fingertips.
You can go to college and
you can
learn how to
home.
do
you
that
don't
guy.
Have to go to college. You can stay at home and download freeware and get really good at it and do all that stuff. Or you could stay at, you could just write a story in your spare time. You have all this stuff, and it's sad to think that all we're doing is going back and be like, well, I'm just gonna, like, if George Lucas did that, if he was like, I really like Flash Gordon, I'm just gonna remake Flash Gordon. Like, you wouldn't have Star Wars. Like, it's just like the inability to step outside of what. Like, you need to be inspired by things instead of being like, I just want to do that. Like,
yeah,
which is really funny considering we were meant to be making props when we started making.
Yeah, that was
we haven't made
the
one
thing.
replica.
No, we haven't.
Like,
we haven't
because it
replicated
just doesn't-
the only thing that I've kind of replicated was from my friend Sean. Was this? This is literally the only prop replica that I've ever constructed in my entire, in the entire ethos of the maker, like, attitude that we have. And I just painted it. This was something that was given, and he wanted it like the Part 4 mask. So that's the only prop up replica that you've seen.
Yeah.
And it's not because we don't want to.
No,
it's the
but
fact
I
that
think that we're more heavily inspired by these things than being like, because it's the same sort of respect that I think should be had with movies, because it's a bigger responsibility.
Yeah.
But with us, it's like, well, we could, like everyone would do like a stormtrooper thing, or those big pop culture things. It's like, that's great. Like, that's gonna make you happy. You do it. I ain't telling you what to make, but for me personally, like when we sit down and talk ideas, it's always, we'll talk about all this shit, and we'll tell, oh yeah, like stormtroopers are cool. Like, yeah, but what if like a stormtrooper was a fucking samurai, or like what if, like like what would it look like if this, or what if like what would a stormtrooper look like as like fucking, like what would the equivalent be for like steampunk or like modern day military shit, like, and then you change the design a bit, but it's heavily inspired, and you wouldn't have got that idea without it. And I think that's what stuff needs to be.
And I think and that's why I'm so encouraged with Netflix. Like, before, Netflix was just a place that you can pay $8 a month. It's 11 now for 4K, but I've got a 4K TV, so fuck it.
Yep.
You can stream in high res now, so who cares? But it used to be when it first came out, and Netflix is almost a decade old now.
That's
almost. It's close.
That's
but it started out as a place that you could go watch these movies that you either can't find. At least for me. I mean, people were getting Netflix and everything just so they can watch. They don't have to buy DVDs, which I get.
Yeah.
But Netflix has so many independent films on it.
Yeah.
So many, maybe films that didn't get the groundswell and respect that they deserved when they first came out, but now they're on this really popular streaming website.
Yeah, and it like immortalizes them.
Yeah, and it's really cool. And also the Netflix exclusives, the originals. We were talking about Spectral. We'll probably do a spoiler cast if Warren will watch that and everything. That's a really awesome one. 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. And fucking Blade Runner doesn't have 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. Jaws doesn't have 80% on Rotten. Like, groundbreaking films.
That's
nothing.
why I don't look up the Rotten Tomatoes things for my favorite movies. Mm-hmm. It's always like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, hey.
And The Witch got like 93% or something.
I didn't even see that movie.
It's such a good idea, and it's really uncomfortable, but there just isn't enough. It's one of those horror movies that leaves all the horror for when the credits are done. Like, you don't get to witness it per se. You're just like all the build
was
up.
Fun.
Like, yeah, and it's just like, dude, like I wish I would have saw. Like, it's because we're in a different standard for what horror movies are. Because like they don't do horror movies like what we probably grew up with, which were like watching like like Candyman or like. Those guys who were doing that, like some of them, it's really campy, it's over the top, but like some of just the simpler parts. Like I remember the one in particular is in Candyman. I think it's when she like has some sort of like episode where she like sees him and then she wakes up in the apartment and there's just blood everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And as a kid, it made my stomach turn because it didn't look like any blood I'd seen in any action movie.
Yeah.
It was different, and it was just haunting. It was just like, oh my.
It wasn't like the blood hits you saw in like fucking any act. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't that stuff. It was like something.
It was like an actual recreation of an actual crime scene. When you watch those like documentary TV shows of what those guys clean, that's what it looked like. And as a kid seeing that, I was like, this shit is real. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and I think, I don't know, that's just
It's a
something that
lost-
you don't get anymore. There's not any like, when was the last heavy gore,
Like heavy gore
like,
slasher.
that made it to theaters?
Scream.
Let's say. I know, and that's sad, isn't it?
Mhm.
Because that's one of the Scream. I know people disagree with this. Scream is just a Stranger Calls with fucking Mike Myers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much it.
Yep.
It's
You're
just
exactly
mixing
right.
the two genres, and it's great that that's what they were probably inspired by, and they made that. But like, out of all of those slashers, all they did with the other ones that are really cool, it's like, we're just gonna remake that. And I get that because people would get the connect, but there's just not heavy gore horror movies.
No.
Because and if there is, when you watch them that don't make theaters, they're like all there's just not enough like going on there to be scary. They don't capture it right.
Yeah,
Like, it's not,
exactly.
you know, like, it's
We're way off topic at this point.
Yeah.
But hey, that's what these are. That's exactly what happens.
that's it.
So our podcast has been running very long, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
The remake that you are excited for.
Oh.
And I know that we were discussing this, and we couldn't even find one that was like, yeah, I want to see that.
I mean, I can't really remember a whole lot of them. Especially, it's even hard to remember the ones I'm excited about. Fuck.
This is the problem.
Yeah, it is. That's a
Hollywood,
really,
are you listening?
really hard one to get excited about. Shit.
Well, there's remakes and there's
Oh,
reboots.
This isn't so much excitement. This is the best you're gonna get from me. Is I will express excitement in the Gremlins 3 if they,
Because it's not a reboot or a remake. It's
if
just
they continue to use, because I refuse to believe that all that shit still isn't in great condition, or they still
Yeah.
didn't have the molds and everything. But if that's CGI, I'm out. Like, that's
Yeah.
just a movie that you can't do.
you have to have Gizmo.
Yeah, well
And
then
he has to be little, tiny, cute, and animatronic. It has to happen.
I'm fed up with all of the shit that I love being taken. This goes for music as well. Being taken from me and being like, it's not for you anymore.
Yeah, we're just gonna repackage
Like,
it.
how old were you when you loved this? Now it's for this kid. And it's like, but he will never love it like I loved it. Because this kid has, like, Netflix at home. His entire life, he'll always have that.
Yeah.
He doesn't know only having this many things.
Yeah,
to watch.
only having 8 VHS growing up.
Even now, I'm spoiled with it. Because I find it hard to rewatch anything now.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, when I was a kid, I used to watch the same movie for like a year straight, like every night. Like,
I mean, there's between the two of us, we probably have hundreds, if not thousands, of DVDs stretching between what you may have back home and here, and also what I've got here and still at my parents' house. Like, but
Yeah.
you don't reach for it anymore.
No.
That's why I'm trying to redo my collection in Blu-ray, because then that gives you, like, okay, that's using the technology properly.
Yeah.
Making these movies that were shot in 16 millimeter 4x3 formatted the best they could. Now they take those, they strike prints off of their master, and then they juice it up with the high res technology and everything. That's cool to me.
Dude,
that makes me want to buy buy Blu-ray and stuff like that. But then there's going to come a point with that shit
dude.
when it's not going to be enough.
Here's my thing, right? Is I know we were just tickling Netflix balls earlier, but I would like, this is really bad, but like, it's great, and I use it all the time, every day. Fucking every 5 minutes on my days off, I'm always like, pop on there, look at it like it's the first time I've seen it. But I would still, like, if Netflix was a friend who was wanted by somebody, I would hand them over like they meant nothing to me to get blockbusters back.
Yeah.
Because it's just so much nicer picking a movie that way.
Yes.
Like, I just love picking movies that way.
100% agree.
I love going in there and being like, it always changing. or like you go in and you look at all the new movies and you're like, and then you end up at like the dollar movies.
Yeah.
That are like so old, and that you can get like 4 of them.
Yeah.
Yes. I miss that so much.
Yeah. Again,
It's not the same with because Netflix is on my couch and I'm already lazy, so now like I spend more time looking through Netflix than I ever do. I'll put on something and be like, off. Now I'm in square one again. Like, for us, you don't have a choice, because by the time you got home, that shit was closed, and
Yeah.
this is all you have.
Exactly.
So you sit down, and that's your movie for tonight. And it branches you out into some stuff that you usually wouldn't watch, and you find those hidden gems that you'll be like, to every person you meet from now on out, oh, have you seen this movie? No, because no one else in the world ever watched that movie but you.
Yeah.
Like, you were the only guy.
Like, I remember the first time. I remember the first time I saw Pulp Fiction.
Mm.
I rented it behind my mom's back with like some other stuff.
Yeah.
Like, because my parents had just recently watched it and they didn't let me. So like when they returned it and everything, I kind of just like hid it next to the counter, and when we rang everything up, I took, and it was like, fuck. Okay,
Yeah.
it was on VHS too.
Dude, I don't think I showed you this, but I went home one night after we were talking about VHS, and I fucking, those commercials are so good. Trailers, fucking, but actual commercials are so much better on VHS than DVD. Do you remember I can fucking quote the Disney one.
Yes.
It would come up before every Disney movie, and they would show you like every Disney movie that was on VHS in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And it would just be like,
Yeah.
and then it would just be like, the thing would put the
Yeah.
like, what? Or when the DVD commercial,
Mm-hmm.
this is video, this is DVD, and it would have the scenes from Die Hard.
Yes.
This is surround sound.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Then they play Lawrence of Arabia and the screen pans out. It's like,
Yeah.
this is widescreen. And it showed, but what they did in that, which I always remembered, because I was like, shit, am I missing a bunch of stuff from these movies? Because when they panned out, it didn't extend the screen, it just showed you shit. Like,
Yeah.
It just extended the image, like the image was already this big and you're only seeing this much.
Yeah.
So, no way, it's every movie, like,
Is every movie like that?
yeah, like, there's loads of stuff I haven't seen. Dude, there's this big, the rabbit hole I went down there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you
Was-
were saying something about that.
I think VHS could totally come back, because they just knew what to do for advertising back then. Every movie. Did you ever see like trailers to movies that just wouldn't make it today, like Con Air?
Yeah.
The trailer to that movie
is
holy shit.
fucking amazing.
Every action movie that was advertised on VHS, you're like, I'm watching that. That
Yeah,
looks
hell yeah.
amazing. Like now, it's like, like look at Transformers. Like I think Nick Swardson did a bit on that. That like he was like Transformers. He was like, I went to see Transformers, and he came out of the movie. What do you think? And I was like, eh. And he was like, if I took that back to like the fucking 50s or the like even earlier than that, like the 20s, and showed people that, people would just be like shitting themselves, like
Yeah.
literally just like, what is this? Like,
Yeah, there'd be no comprehension. You'd be burned at the stake as a heretic.
yeah, like it would just be incredible. And I was like, that's so true, because if that movie was back then and advertised the way it was, like now when I watch trailers, most of the time I'm like no, like because now everyone's so tailored for,
Yeah.
and all the trailers are so like, I don't know, the trailers were just different back then, and I love the sound quality of VHS. I love the little buzzing, the little imperfection of it.
It's like listening to a record.
When you have an old VHS that you've watched the shit out of and you first put it in, it's all a bit,
Yeah,
and it like bounces
and
around
then
a bit.
and you have the really nice VCR with the auto track feature and everything, where it lines the tape automatically. You don't got to sit there you sit there with your finger on the dial, looking up at the TV, making sure things are lining up perfectly like that. There's a whole thing with it. You feel like
yeah.
you're part of the process almost.
And
in that.
do you remember the fucking shit you'd get in for not rewinding the tape?
Oh,
after
good. They
watching
double
it?
charged you.
Or you'd be like fucking like you just put it back in your collection, and then the next time you go to watch that movie, okay, we can watch that film. Is it rewound? And you're like, yeah. stop rewind.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, man, it took time.
There was an
legitimate
investment.
time.
There was an investment in your time when VHS was there, and I feel like with just like how records and 2-inch tape and cassettes actually too are making a resurgence in the music scene. They're more. I mean, it's getting better with Third Man Records in Detroit. Jack White, you're fucking doing awesome stuff. We're actually printing 45s, printing records, printing all this stuff, and actually getting artists that may have never at one point been on vinyl to be on vinyl and actually selling them legitimately. I think for the music industry, it started as a novelty and now is coming back. I think if the same imagine if we made a movie and just released it on VHS.
Dude, I'm honestly, like, just because of the rabbit hole I've been down and, like, just the love I have for it, I'm, like, this close. If I can find a thrift store or anything that sells VHS, I'm going to buy a VHS player and just hunt. Because, like, that's what I like about comic books. It's, like, the hunt for things. Like, if I get a VHS, I'm going to be looking.
And now,
all the time.
You can buy online. You can get a VHS player that'll hook up to that high-res television. Like, you can get an analog to digital. They're like $80. They're really expensive, but you can get a little brick that plugs into the wall that's powered that you can put the 3-pin or even a coaxial cable into.
Yeah.
And that little box converts the signal out to digital, and you can run HDMI to a television.
I just see it being a really cheap hobby though. Like, because if I was to just even get, like, the TV I grew up with as a kid, it's like this big and this fucking round, like a brick of things, and then just getting a VHS and just sitting in the corner of my living room that doesn't get used.
Yeah.
And then just start finding VHS stuff that, like, I used to watch as a kid.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can insert. This is 59 seconds, not minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be terrible. This is 59 seconds long. If we can insert this, or insert a link to this, what I'm about to show him, because you need to watch this.
What is it?
But this is what movies would look like if we never had DVDs. Like, this is a trailer to Rogue One.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
That's amazing.
Isn't it just so much? Isn't it so much more?
Yeah, we're linking to that video, or I'm gonna try to maybe pirate it off of there and insert it right there. So yeah, that was if we just inserted it there. Tell me that's not fucking awesome.
But
like,
tell me one thing though. Like, effects now are awesome, right? But I feel like the higher res we get
gives it away.
It shows you how they do it, because that's what they're working in. Whereas when you put it down to a sub-category like that, and you drop it down, all those effects look way better than they did in Rogue One. Like, it just blends better. There's that room for it to sort of...
Yeah, there's that inherent fuzziness that came along with all of that.
And so all that shit looks way more like it's there. It just works better in VHS. I'm like really impressed by that. I was like, wow.
We'll wrap up here shortly. I think that, I mean, we were going to express the disdain we had for the remakes and cite a couple, but I believe that what we've discussed here is enough. But the remake, I don't know, I haven't researched it enough to I don't really want to know. There's rumors of a certain actor coming back, but it's they're calling it The Predator. The movie's called The Predator. I have so much of my love for science fiction movies and action movies invested in those two movies.
Yeah.
I can't I can't name a movie, and I like Star Wars. I wasn't a Star Wars kid. I didn't like the fantasy, that aspect of the fantasy world, the sci-fi world.
Yeah.
I liked the other side, the ones that I loved. Leviathan. I loved The Abyss. I loved the Predator movies. I loved that type of stuff, and I'm interested in seeing where that goes, because there have been backstories like Predators, where it was, you know, these people sent to a planet that, you know, you find out that they're each individually badass in their own right, and that's why they're being hunted by these predators. Alien versus Predator gives you that, and also all of the movies, like the 3 movies that came out, where they all had something to do with the origin of. But I would like to see a movie like we were talking about, like to see kind of not a culture movie, because they don't speak or any language that's known, but like to see more of what that is.
Yeah, because they must be a minute part of their entire species.
Yeah.
They're,
and
they're the best of the best. They're
exactly.
like the SAS, or, you know, like the fucking... Yeah.
So that's the one that I'm stoked on.
I want to see, like, what makes a predator.
Yeah, like,
you know, like...
is there a hierarchy? Are there
like,
predators
what do they have to do to be ranked, to be named? I'm sure they have to do some crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
And is all the stuff we've seen in movies part of their, like, how to get to where they're wanting to go? Because I imagine it's all for something, right? Like, why did he hunt down fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger for all that time?
Yeah, why did he even bother?
So, you know, because he's not, like, going to get any payoff from it other than...
the trophy.
Yeah. And is the trophy something to that? Like...
Yeah, that's what I'm interested in.
Striving for? Like, that's what I want to know. And, like, they don't have to just, like, reveal, like, well, there it all is. But, like, give me some sort of, like, look, like a glimpse of what that is. That would be awesome.
Well, thanks for hanging in.
Thank you.
I want to see if people got it right. Timestamp the point in the video where I asked you about Kevin Peter Hall. I just want to see if there's anybody that even watches this. Just want to see that.
Yeah.
But do yourself a favor. Just go watch a movie that you've never seen before. Don't watch the same one 6 times in a row, even though I'm guilty of fucking doing that.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Dude, I really like The Void. I've watched that twice now.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
yeah, I dug that.
Again, if you can detach like the joy for something without a great story, like it's not all stories.
No, it's visuals too.
Yeah, it's great.
Later.